So what keeps a young nation out of war? Well, do you need a strong army, or do you need clever diplomacy? Something simpler, just staying united. In Federalist Paper No. 3, John Jay argues that the safest path to peace is one union, not 13 separate strategies. And let's see why. I'm Matt Haskell. I'm a high school history teacher, and we're just doing things you should know by being alive. It's been requested that I work my way through the Federalist Papers, and so, well, I teach government, so why not? It's going to help me brush up on the things that I need to teach, too. So let's start where it begins. We've already covered Federalist 1, 2, and 3. In 1, Hamilton's challenged the folks to support the Constitution with reason or accident and force. And then in 2 was John Jay's answer, we are one people, we are meant to be united. In Federalist Paper 3, now, here we go. Jay gets practical. Unity keeps us safer from foreign conflict. And John Jay's claim was pretty straightforward. A national government is more likely than 13 state governments to preserve peace with other countries. Well, why? Well, because a union will cause fewer just causes of war, and it will respond to disputes with greater fairness and consistency and skill. And so if we start with the phrase, just causes of war, John Jay says foreign nations go to war for reasons, either real or perceived injuries. Think of seizures of ships, border incidents, broken treaties. And if each state runs its own policy, the chance of provoking those states, the causes go up, right? And so a single hot-headed, local law, a disputed customs rule, a militia captain looking for glory, and all of a sudden you could have some kind of international incident. So a national government, Jay argues, is less likely to commit those provocations. It's more deliberate, it's more accountable, and it's more visible to the whole of the country, all the people. Jay also says the best qualified people are more likely to serve at the national level. Well, why does that matter? Well, because foreign policy is delicate. It requires knowledge of the law of nations, navigation, treaties, and past precedents. With one union, then you can draw from the whole talent pool. And with 13 separate policies, you get uneven quality and you get uneven judgment. So foreign nations also prefer clarity, one treaty, one interpretation, one chain of responsibility. If each state tweaks the rules of trade and navigation or harbor access, confusion becomes conflict. The union speaks with one voice, which means fewer mistakes, fewer slights, and fewer excuses for war. So we start to begin to look at what Jay says over maritime issues and then border flashpoints. John Jay points to the sea and to the frontier of the country, which are those hottest flashpoints of the 1780s. So at sea, we can think of things like, seizures, privateers, prize courts, contested cargo. One national standard for admiralty and prize captures reduces that friction. On land, you got borderlands with British Canada and Spanish Florida. That's rather tense. Smuggling and land claims and treaty enforcement, well, that's all risk zones. And if you have a union, you can coordinate patrols, you can negotiate consistently, and discipline offenders when needed. Now, he also brings up the point of fairness toward foreigners. So it's a really kind of a subtle point, right? So John Jay says a national government is more likely to treat foreigners justly. There's a degree of fairness here. Not because it's soft, though, because it's accountable to the whole country and not just a single port or county or faction. Justice lowers the temperature. And the lowest temperature, well, the lower the temperature, the lower the chance for war. So then Jay goes on to appeal to the law of nations, right? The customary rules that states are expected to follow on the international stage. Who is more likely to know and respect those rules? Well, one government staffed by people steeped in treaty law and also international practice. Or are you going to want to put it in the hands of a patchwork of local governments that are each, effectively improvising under pressure? So for Jay, the answer was obvious. The Union represents the law of nations more reliably. But here's a big argument that Jay begins to make as well, and it's accountability. If the national government mishandles a dispute, everyone sees it and can demand correction. If a local authority provokes trouble, it's easy to hide the ball. It's easy to pass the blame or to stir up hometown pride. So a single conspicuous government is easier to hold accountable, and so it behaves better. So in Jay's writing, he begins to anticipate the objection, but won't a stronger national government be more aggressive? And Jay flips that objection. He says aggression usually begins with partial interests, regional grudges, local profits, petty rivalries. And so the Union dilutes partial interests and raises the bar for any kind of overreaction. So in short, a bigger circle, a cooler head. So he throws out this idea for a simple thought experiment. Imagine 13 different maritime codes, 13 sets of custom rules, 13 prize courts, 13 patrol plans. Now imagine you're Britain or France or Spain trying to navigate all that. Confusion turns into suspicion. Suspicion becomes grievance. Grievance becomes a just cause. And so one system reduces the sparks that can lead to the flames of war. So why does Jay's point with Federalist Paper No. 3 still matter? So, okay, why does this 18th century argument matter now? Well, because principle, it travels well. The principle that Jay puts forth travels well. You have a coherent policy that lowers risk. You have clear accountability that improves behavior. You have one voice that reduces misunderstandings abroad. And whether we're talking maritime rules then or cybersecurity, trade regimes, or treaty enforcement today, the logic is the same. Fragmentation breeds friction. So what we end up seeing here, too, is what Jay is not saying. He is not promising a perfect peace. He is ranking probabilities. Union does not guarantee safety, but it improves the odds. We have fewer provocations. We have fewer excuses for war. We have better diplomacy when trouble comes. And so, if we look at a quick recap of Jay's reasoning, if you lighten the load here, right? So, 1, foreign wars usually start from perceived injuries. 2, fragmented policies create more opportunities to cause those injuries. 3, a national government is more qualified, more uniform, more accountable, and more just. And 4, therefore, a union is more likely to keep the peace. You could, summarize Federalist No. 3 in 4 lines. If this is your homework assignment, you're welcome. There it is right there for you. So, If you imagine this kind of analogy, right? 13 teenagers are driving 13 cars, each with their own rules of the road in one crowded city. And even if everyone means well, the chance for accidents goes up. And so if you have one clear rule book, one traffic system, it won't eliminate crashes, but it dramatically lowers the risk. And that's Jay's point. So there's a bridge here that we can build then to Federalist No. 4, because Jay's going to add a second layer there. I'll get there when we do another video, but it's going to be not just fewer provocations, but fewer temptations for foreign powers to attack in the first place, because strength plus clarity equals deterrence. But first, we needed today's foundation with No. 3, peace through fewer just causes. So some takeaways here. 1, union reduces diplomatic friction. 2, one voice means clearer treaties and fairer enforcement and fewer excuses for war. 3, national accountability raises the quality and the justice of foreign policy. So Federalist No. 3 is a calm, lawyerly case for peace by design. John Jay says the Union is not only our identity, it's our safety. If you found this useful, share it, tag a friend, somebody that loves early American history. And I'm going to go on to Federalist No. 4 next. And so, hey, I'm Matt Hasquin, and this is another one of those things that you should know by being alive. Thanks for taking the time to watch.